Hey YouTube, Peterbilt Knife Guy, and it's another Condor video. And by another Condor, it's the same Condor, but in a different shape now, and not really shape, but the blade geometry. Or not even the geometry, I don't even know what I'm talking about. But it is, it has been sharpened by me. When I got this knife and I did the initial review, that was basically an unboxing. And I didn't do anything to it. And it was not very sharp out of the box. Like, it was sharp enough to cut paper, but not really sharp. And since then I reprofiled it. I brought this back to a 18, come on light, an 18 degree convex edge. You can see, if you look closely, you can see the edge, that light roll off that edge at different angles. And straightened it out, because this was pretty poorly crooked through here. Sorry, my dirty hands. But this was pushed off to that side, so I kind of straightened it out a little bit. The tip wasn't too bad on it originally. Left it the same, but put that edge along there. Surprisingly, they did do their bevels so pretty decent, because it's pretty symmetrical on both sides. I didn't really have to adjust it too much. There was also, and this is something I didn't bring up in the review the first time, right here, the blade dipped down. It wasn't straight across here, it went up. So I kind of fixed that too. Not completely, because it does still have a dip in here from the factory when they made it. But as of right now, it's still pretty sharp, but I did use it. So I did chop a 2x4 a couple times to see how it would handle, and it did great, actually. You know, I'm comparing it to other knives like this guy, you know. Yeah, it's not going to compete with this, but it did good for a blade of its size, considering I have a bunch of other blades similar to this size. The handle was comfortable. And one weird thing, when I was chopping like this, I found it didn't give me much. You would think it would give you, you know, a little bit more chop, but it really didn't. The knife really wants to just be held right here. Now, in all fairness, I have only chopped one 2x4 a couple times with this, so I am by no means an expert with this knife yet. Every knife, as I've said, especially big chopper knives, has a learning curve to it, where you want to hit on the blade for your best power. You know, it's typically usually in the same spot, but comfort of the handle, hand positions, how the blade bites in, these are all things that you're gonna have to figure out with your new blade, and I still am new to this knife. I did chop, like I said, a 2x4. I'm gonna roll that in right here. And that was right after I got off work. I stole a 2x4 thing from work just to test it out, because I was gonna stop on the side of the road today on the way home and whack some stuff. And you know, I got off late, and it's dark right now, and I wasn't going to do that. I just kind of wanted to get home. So, you know, another day. But it did pick up. There's no chips, but you could feel a slight something right here. And it doesn't catch in paper, but I don't know, I just feel something. It don't feel right to me. But nothing is wrong with it. It's 18 degree per side. I think I already said that, but I'm just gonna give it a quick strop up here. This is not gonna work because I usually stick this in a vise. But I was surprised. I was well, not surprised because it's literally a chopping knife, but I was shocked by how good it did. You know, Condor did a good job making this. Now, I guarantee a real competition chopper is just going to destroy this because those things are like 3/8 thick, 1/2 inch thick at the spine, full flat grind. There's no competing with those. They're meant to be big chopping knives. You see these guys on these Blade Sports videos, they'll take out a 2x4 in like 2 or 3 swings, which is crazy. That's a lot of freaking power and good technique. Technique has a lot to do with it. Some people think you can just buy a big knife and go out and chop and it's gonna do all the work for you. And you know, the big knife's part of it, but it's not all of it. It is technique and skill. It's required. So it did good. It did good for my first chop. Then I chopped with the El Chete, and of course, like anybody would think, you know, it did fantastic. And just for fun. This thing's a freaking monster. Yeah, it just blew through that 2x4. One thing I did notice when I was doing this, and I tried to find it on camera, was the wood I was using, I found on a job site. It was just laying around in the dirt, so it probably had a rock in it or something. And you know, carbon steel against a piece of rock creates a spark. I hit it one time and it didn't pick it up on camera because when I hit, it came from behind and the camera was on this side. And it threw a spark. And I'm like, well, there's a nick in my blade. No freaking nicks. Oh man, just that couple strops. It's gone now. There's no more weirdness to it. That's awesome. Yeah, that's back to right where it was. Let's do the much hated paper towel test. Yeah, it's right back there. And I didn't even hit it with the just the leather strop. Just really refine that edge. So, you know, 18 degrees per side, convex edge. It did good for 1075. Then again, I only chopped one 2x4 a couple times, but it did good. I was happy with it. Let's get this leather thing out of here. I love convex edges. I don't, you know, they just work good. Let's try this again. Yeah, that's sharp. That's me. That's sharp. That is plenty sharp. So yeah, digging this knife so far. I am going to be reprofiling the handle slightly. I am going to take it to a belt sander and smooth this area out, kind of round it in, blend it in a little bit, because I did notice while I was holding it in this grip, it does want to punch your hand a little bit. I think I said that on the last video, but honestly, I found just from the brief chopping that I did that just holding your standard hammer grip worked pretty good. What else I got? Yeah, I can't wait to take this thing out into the woods and actually bash some stuff with it, like saplings and stuff like that. They're overgrown on our property, and I don't care what the hippies say, they're taking over. Not the hippies, but the saplings, and they need to be cleared. And it's just fun hitting that kind of stuff. If you have ever been into big knives and you take a nice sized branch like this and in one cleave just straight through it, it's it's a euphoric feeling. It just feels good. But anyways, that's all I got for you today. Just a little update. It's late, so I'm not really going to do any kind of extravagant video today. But yeah, once you reprofile this thing and give it an actual convex edge, I mean, I thought about fully convexing this and just bringing it back, but I wanted to see how this would hold up. You know, it's 18 degrees per side, so it's not super shallow, but it's not super steep either. And so far, held up good. So, to be determined. I still think there's some fit and finish issues on it. I still love the sheath. I still think 1075 is a good steel. I still think this handle is done well. Other than the gaps and stuff like that, I still don't think it's going to go nowhere. I just think I'm just nitpicking. But yeah, that's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching.